Good morning, everyone. I see a lot of familiar names here, a lot of friends here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tarun Goyal, Channel Marketing Lead for Dell Technologies in India. I'm glad to welcome you all to this edition of SalesAcumen workshop. The response to the previous workshops have been so amazing. I feel a lot more energized. I feel a lot more obliged to repeat the sessions on and on. We had over 150 delegates from more than 100 unique partner organizations and some very strongly positive feedback as well. More than 95% of our attendees rated the sessions as strongly good or excellent. Like last time, today's learning session is also very exciting. We will have a sales acumen keynote, a very powerful panel discussion with an industry eminent CIO and a few SMEs who will share their valuable points of views. And we will have a Dell Technologies keynote session that will outline the curated specific value points that you would need as your MO to successfully sell right, sell better, sell higher to the customers. Please also note, this webinar also has a chat interface. I encourage you all to ask questions and to give feedback live to the SMEs via the live chat. Make the most of this learning session, make the most of this interaction session. Thank you once again and wish you a happy learning. Let's dive into the session now. I'm sure you will capture a lot more valuable insights from our speakers. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Shantanu Ganguly, CEO at Strategic, and I hereby warmly welcome you all to the second edition of SalesAcumen Masterclass, exclusively organized for partners of Dell Technologies. Thank you for joining us today. And in the next 20 minutes or so, I will take you through a session titled Turning Challenges into Opportunities. So let's understand a few industry specific use cases, industry specific usage of technology in the new normal situation. And I will try to be as much illustrative with examples and explain with real life uh, examples from India, cross vertical from different industries to make it very, very easy and lucid for you to understand. So let's start with what are the common challenges. I think most of us are aware of it, but I'll just re-emphasize the top challenges that we have faced as sellers during the lockdown phase of this new normal. So unprecedented global health and safety challenge. All of us got inwardly focused to ensure our families, our near and dear ones are healthy, safe. We adopt the precautions that's needed to make sure we remain safe, we remain healthy. That was and that still remains the top priority for each of us. Because of the pandemic lockdown, we ceased doing face-to-face meetings with our customers, with our colleagues, with our collaborators, with our partners. Net, we all got uh, introduced to the concept of remote working, and that has sort of become the new normal as we speak and progress, and it's going to remain for some more time, right? So we all understand that business demand overall has seen a slowdown. Initially, of course, it was more acute. Gradually, as things are getting settled, people have got used to remote working. As the unlocking of lockdown process has started, things are looking up, things are improving, and people have realized that we need to live with this for some more time. This will not get solved very easily overnight. So there is focus on, okay, how do we sort of get back to as close to normalcy in terms of business collaboration and B2B activities. But one constraint remains: as economies open up, social distancing norms that we are mandated to continue uh, sort of uh, puts us into this limitation where all employees that we were used to in an office or in a shop floor or in a bank or in a telecom organization or in a hospital, anywhere and everywhere, any working or business organization, or be it in a government department, the full count of employees may not be always available. We may need to rotate employees who are physically present in office, and remaining works remotely. And this new normal arrangement will remain as a constraint for some more period of time. Now, every challenge situation is also an opportunity for us to look into that with full optimism, to think of, okay, how do we look at the positive side of things, what action is in our control that we can do to mitigate some of the risks or to minimize some of the risk impact to our businesses, etc. And with that thought and optimism and positivity, let us look at what some of the technology driven business transformation changes that have evolved and that we are seeing as common trends during the new normal. So first of all, the new normal is speeding up everyone's transition, every business's transition to be a digital business. That's fairly obvious. Those who were lagging behind in terms of their digital initiatives or being a digital first business, they are they have strongly realized that there is no option, no choice, so they have to ramp up. Secondly, if you think of the Industry 4.0, Factory 4.0 concept, automation is being accelerated, is being increasingly adopted by industries across diverse, I would say, manufacturing micro verticals, be it automobile, be it food processing, be it chemicals, be it textile. And we have some specific examples to share with you as we move forward in this specific session that I'm covering. Supply chains are being rebuilt with more local and regional options. So whether it is raw material suppliers, whether it is our transporters, whether it is our downstream collaborators, partners, distributors, channel ecosystem, for any business in a global borderless world. Previously, there were many such collaborators who were outside India, who were overseas, and this lockdown, or they were across different states of India. So the lockdown forced us into a situation where some of this cross-border, both international as well as domestic cross-border collaboration got restricted because of the risk of the virus spreading from people to people. So we were forced to relook at sourcing materials from local suppliers or regional suppliers and minimize our over dependence on global or cross-border suppliers or ecosystem players, right? So that requires again integration of technology platforms with new partners, new collaborators, and that again is a driver for change from a B2B collaboration standpoint. Last but not the least, a common important trend is that the disruption forced people to take a relook at where they are in their cloud journey, where they are in terms of their business continuity preparedness, and take any corrective step, accelerate their momentum towards cloud adoption, and relook at their cloud strategy, business continuity strategy, for sheer reasons of continuity of business, for being a digital business, for making sure that the business ecosystem is very, very agile and it responds, reacts, and uh, sort of jumps back into as much normalcy in spite of facing the severest of unprecedented risks and threats. Having said that, this analyst slide shows basis some research with technology buyers that they did. What are the top 5 technology solution areas which customers continue to invest into? And starting with number 1 area is collaboration technologies. We are all aware of. We are all conferencing, chatting, collaborating, and exchanging information in a remote working arrangement with everybody, all stakeholders of B2B through digital means. So digital collaboration and associated tools infrastructure is definitely has seen a boost in investment. An integral part of such digital collaboration are devices, be it your mobile workstations, be it your laptops, be it your phones, your tablets. So that has seen a renewed investment. Security has become a big focus area because remote working, work from home did not have that stringent quality and tools, people, process that's typically associated with a corporate network and then IT ecosystem security. So remote and home infrastructure security definitely needs to be beefed up, needs to be made to the extent possible aligned to what corporate standards are to make sure that the data, the applications, the critical information that we are exchanging from remote working arrangement remains as much safe and secure. The next areas are more around infrastructure. It could be infrastructure as a service or platforms as a service, and or infrastructure still in the traditional form, be it in a data center format, be it in an on-premise format, and whatever incremental enhancements, modernization that needs to be done to continue with the business growth or business collaboration that's going on in the new normal, those remains as areas of focus. Okay, now let's understand specific examples by industry vertical. But before I jump into a few industries, here is a list of industry verticals which continue to invest. So when you are planning your quarterly sort of sales plan and you are prioritizing set of accounts where you want to uh, invest time into, engage with customers with, uh, do prioritize your time, effort, and initiative investment across some of these key verticals, because these for sure continue to invest, continue to be minimally or less disrupted by the new normal, and for whatever reasons of demand, supply versus market opportunities, they continue to invest. And I have a few examples to illustrate specifics here. Let's start with healthcare as an example, and I have taken a real life example here from an organization, a chain of hospitals called Aster DM Healthcare. So on the left hand side of each of these slides, you would see some business challenges captured. On the right hand side, very specific technology driven solution points captured, which these organizations have adopted to minimize or maximally neutralize the business challenges. I will not read through each of these points, but I will highlight some of the critical points to bring your attention to. And of course, these are all public domain information. It's available to you for your subsequent research analysis. So specific to healthcare, if we talk of the healthcare part, which is both around the pandemic and which is otherwise, which is outside the pandemic. So those of us who need a regular OPD uh, sort of consultation with doctors, we are trying to avoid visiting hospitals to the extent possible unless we are really compelled. We stay at home. We try to call up doctors and take telephonic or remote consultation. Secondly, inadequate hospital staff. A lot of people, including medical staff or nurses or administrative staff, people have moved back to their hometowns, etc. Or some of them are avoiding crowded places because of lockdown. People have commuting challenges from one part of the city to other. So all these combined together see a reduced staff strength in the hospitals. And last but not the least, there are stringent norms ever than before on enhanced hygiene and social distancing. So technology solutions like telemedicine, remote consultation, chatbots which are trained to engage with customers remotely or over digital channels, answering some of their very specific questions or common queries. There are solutions involving IoT sensors inside an hospital to make sure patient monitoring is as much real time, as much digitalized, and it is it can be sort of handled in a scale and volume that's required by the help of a digital platform. And basis all the digitalized underlying ecosystem, people can further are deploying technologies like AI, like machine learning, to make best sense of the underlying data that's available and support decision support system, which doctors or administrators in a hospital environment or in a clinical environment need for their patient care purpose. So this was the healthcare example. Moving on to education, right? All of us are aware that the lockdown situation forced everybody to explore digital e-learning, distance education, webinar-based collaboration. So if you see, about 500 million students got impacted pan-India because of this lockdown, and that's purely students alone. If you take the business side of employees who were forced to sort of start collaborating digitally and leverage e-learning platforms for professional education learning, that's even more in terms of the size and count of people. So what technologies have been adopted here? Again, it varies, but some of the common technologies include online classrooms or webinars or meetings, uh, leveraging internet plus a device, be it a computer or a mobile device for access. People have leveraged technology platforms which can record a particular session for subsequent playback, etc. So all these are being leveraged to make sure people can maximally uh, drive and absorb e-learning and digital education. And one specific example here is from Byju's, who we are all familiar with. They, in the month of March alone, witnessed 150% surge in their new student count. Having discussed healthcare and education, let's move on to food processing and food manufacturing. So here is an example from the largest confectioner biscuit manufacturer of the country. So of course, like all other industries, they got impacted by the lockdown, the closure, but more from a production standpoint. But from a demand standpoint, the lockdown saw a positive side on the demand for such food manufacturing organizations because people were locked at home. There were children or young people not going to office, not going to school or education institutes. There was surge on basic demands of food products like biscuits or confectionery items, etc. And that, while that's a nice thing to have from a business standpoint, the lockdown, the closure, the lack of access of adequate workers, all that sort of prevented such food manufacturers to seize the demand, seize the opportunity. So they were still struggling with suboptimal production compared to the demand. So how are they leveraging technology? Of course, the first thing is manufacturing and shop floor level production automation. So that's been there with Parley for good many years now. It's not that they are doing this new. They have been practicing this for good many years. What they are focusing now on is on certain elements or initiatives of automation around what previously were manual efforts, specifically around packaging and loading and unloading. So packaging automation is what they are currently focusing on to further move up their overall extent of automation. And once they finish that, the next area they want to focus on is loading unloading automation, which will further make them uh, maximally automate and then reduce their dependence on human capital. Now, with all of this, Parley are still able to produce 75% of their production capacity by leveraging still 50% of their workforce. So that's a proof point, that's a benefit statement or a result statement that you can think about, uh, that such food processing manufacturers are deriving out of automation. So driving 75% production, leveraging 50% of their workforce. Moving on, IT and IT-enabled services. Here's an example of ITC Infotech. You have heard the name of this organization. So they faced problems around utilization, resource usage of their critical employees, broadly across two category of employees. their software engineers, technology engineers, and of course the shared services team members like those who are in IT or HR or finance or recruitment, etc. So net mundane repetitive tasks were taking away productive time from what they call as customer facing productive time, and this of course takes an overall impact and toll on employee productivity. So what have they thought of? Technology investment or technology driven solution. They have decided to invest and give each employee one robotic process automation bot, RPA bot, for each of their 9,000 employees. Now, these bots will be digital buddies to each of the employees. They will be helping automate and do as much in an autonomous manner all the repetitive mundane tasks otherwise that an employee was doing as much manually. This will help in improve efficiency, productivity of each employee, and it will also free up their time which they can recircle back, repurpose back to customer facing time, and that overall also will help boost the morale of each employee, boost the confidence of each employee, and they will be more convincingly be able to talk to their end customers about the benefits of automation, the benefits of leveraging technology for the purpose of productivity improvement and efficiency. Let's move on to the next example, which is about textile. So we have Canterville as an example here. So textile as an industry is heavily dependent on machinery and people, right? So like all or many other businesses, they also got impacted by the lockdown with the slowing economy where people were purchasing less. And of course, there was employee and worker shortage. So they have specifically now refocused back to increase their IT budgets for digital projects. They want to provide innovation-led shopping experience to their customers, consumers. So step one, they are implementing ERP Navision, which they plan to complete over the year 2020. So this ERP implementation will make their factory as well as chain of stores as much digitized. And with this digitization, the Canterville plans to expand with e-commerce and push as much online sales. So they want to move away from the retail store-based stores and balance it out with as much digital channel-based, digital e-commerce based sales growth to make sure that such subsequent risks or slowdown or adverse, unprecedented, I would say, risks uh, minimally impact, and they have multi-channel sales opportunity or sales avenues which are prevalent, and that there is a strong digital channel, strong online sales channel, which helps neutralize some of this uh, sort of new risk that we all experience or are still experiencing. My last example here is about insurance, and here's IFCO Tokyo story, where they got badly impacted under lockdown because 50% of the revenue stream depended upon motor insurance, vehicle insurance, and during lockdown, manufacturing as well as purchasing of vehicles tanked into an all-time low. So how did they sort of neutralize this impact? They managed to bring back 80% of their business by adopting following AI and machine learning driven claim settlement, RPA based automation, of course, doing whatever it takes to enable remote working capabilities so that they can keep in touch with their customers, consumers as much closely and attend to their details. And of course, a business strategy, more a business tactic that they adopted is seizing the ongoing pandemic scenario. There was, of course, renewed interest among larger consumers about health insurance, medical insurance. So to do away with the shortfall of motor insurance or vehicle insurance, they refocused back onto health insurance as a business strategy. And that sort of paid back together with the technologies that mentioned here. They brought back significant part of their business back into normalcy. Couple of quick additional examples: manufacturing, automobile, BFSI. Again, I will not read through the details, but by and large, manufacturing, they are leveraging IoT, they are leveraging orchestration, automation, shop floor level, factory level, warehouse level, distribution level, transport level. So all elements of manufacturing end to end, they are reevaluating and seeing or exploring where technology can have a play, can have an influence, positive impact. And that's something we should be talking to when we are engaging with any manufacturing customer. In automobile, we have the example of MG Hector here, who has seen a positive growth in their vehicle sales even in the month of March when lockdown started. So it was possible still because of large extent of digital adoption, cloud adoption in the various business functions of their technology ecosystem. In BFSI, we have another example here from insurance, which is SBI Life. They had previously invested heavily into digital, which made sure that they had a very robust business continuity, minimal impact during the pandemic disruption. So this is my last slide, my call to action to all of us as sellers. Number one, we have to be a very strong optimist. Our customers many a times look forward to us for trusted advisory. So we need to go with our research, go with our homework, go with our case studies, success stories, and impress our customers on what's possible in the new normal. We need to be inspiring them with thought leadership, with trusted advisory, and many a times they learn from us and get new ideas from us and then collaborate with us for subsequent detailing, proposal, evaluation of technology, and then that's how we gain their mind share. We end of the day remain their trusted partner for the long haul. And to be able to do this successfully, to do the trusted advisory, we need to do our research and homework, right? So we need to understand the use cases, the trends, the latest technology adoption, examples by industry vertical, by specific technology use cases, where this has been done before. So customers often are hesitant to adopt something which is absolutely new and they will be the first to embrace adopt. So they will always typically ask, have you done this anywhere before? Can you make me talk to that customer, or can you tell me their success story? How have they benefited? What are the sort of experiences that they are able to share or you are able to bring basis that previous implementation, which I need to be aware of, and some learnings which will be helpful to me to sort of jumpstart. Few good resources to leverage.
Good morning. Welcome you all to the panel discussion titled Technology Buying Decision Making During Turbulent Times from the Perspective of Data Capital. I would like to introduce the participants. We have Sudeep Jain, Head Strategic Initiatives Times Group, Amit Luthra, Director and General Manager, Data Center Solutions, Dell Technologies, Vishal Mathur, Senior Partner Technology Strategist, Microsoft, and Arun Siddaramaya, Lead Architect, Cloud Services Providers, Intel. Thanks for taking time out to participate. My first question goes out to Amit. Amit, after the Dell EMC merger, Dell has been in the forefront of storage technology consistently. So I'd like to hear from you over the last 3 to 6 months, the key highlights in the storage vertical. Over to you, Amit.
We have been instrumentally bringing in elements of building that framework much more tighter, integrated, and easy for our customers to manage across how the data moves right from its creation to its deletion. So we have added a lot of new products into our portfolio. We have added a lot of new solutions into our portfolio, which helps putting the right data in the right place at the right time and enabling our customers to pull the right value from the data.
Thanks. I will quickly go to Sudeep. You have been a long timer in the Times Group, and you have seen the challenges which has come in the media industry. So just want to figure out from you, during the post-COVID times, as you have seen it, what is your point of view with respect to the industry, and what are the key business challenges that you have faced, and what are the technology initiatives that you have taken?
Thank you, Barun. And I must say the COVID world over, from an economic standpoint, has created a big reset, in all possible ways. The media industry, which primarily is driven from the advertisement industry, and world over with a lot of economy has actually been reset to zero for a lot of sectors out there. So the advertisement has taken a big setback. And if you look at the media industry, their revenues have been challenged like never before. Maybe it is worse than what it was in 2008, the last one that we saw. Uh, Obviously, the impact on the print is far more. The print advertisers are from the sectors like manufacturing, retail, and far more, which are much, much more impacted. The digital is also adversely impacted in terms of revenue, but not as bad as print is. Uh, Besides that, the media industry is also a lot of the internet startups or so much the internet properties. They are run from a valuation point of view, funding, high valuation, high revenue, or high growth, and that has all taken a setback for them. Obviously, that has created a huge pressure on the costs. And when I say on the cost, it also means that the demand is increasing. The traffic is increasing for the internet business. People have more time to look at the publishing content. So the CIOs has a difficult challenge in front of them. A larger demand, low monetization. So they have to do more with less. And that's a big challenge that is coming with it. Besides the fact they have had a capex available to them in a large way earlier, which is also becoming a challenge. I think the discretionary spend in itself is becoming a challenge right now because the cash flows are a challenge.
Okay, I think it's a very valid observation. Capex is becoming a challenge. Ad revenues is becoming a challenge. As we move forward, I'm sure that we'll get more insights from Sudeep, the outside-in view from the CIO as to what are the typical challenges from the customer side. Coming back to you, Arun, I did a little bit of reading, in terms of what Intel is doing in the storage space, and I get to hear that you are doing a lot of work around the scalable storage system. Okay, so give us some insights around the solid state drives and non-volatile memory, for the audience.
Thanks, Varun. See, Intel has been doing quite a lot of storage innovations, as you mentioned, around the scalable systems. Um, Most of it is targeted at extracting the maximum value of data, which more or less today has engulfed most of the data centers today, be it cloud, be it the enterprise, be it media, any industry vertical that you take. So yes, we have SSDs, standard SSDs that are great, but most of them are based on SATA and SAS, which by now have become a legacy. So what we did was to leverage the true advantage of SSDs. We brought in NVMe as a gold standard for PCIe-based SSDs. So with this, we were able to help our customers bring the data to deliver a kind of a very high level of performance that was never seen before, and also at a much faster pace. And also it resulted in a much lower power consumption. So that contributed a significant reduction in cost of ownership. So now we are extending this NVMe way beyond PCIe SSDs across our DC fabrics, which includes Ethernet, fiber channel, InfiniBand, and OmniPath. So this, in a way, will go a long way in simplifying the overall data management across the data center because we use a single protocol across. And this will also bring down significantly the cost of ownership over a period of time. So all in all, I see NVMe as a very strategic investment by Intel in terms of extending the data center performance to the next levels.
I think, very well articulated, Arun. I must tell you that I used to head the storage business, and I can understand, how NVMEs are taking the cake away from SSD drives, and few years back, SSDs were becoming standard. So excellent articulation. And let me come back to you, Vishal. Vishal, post-COVID times, I'm sure you must be happy making a lot of bucks, because the stock prices are going up. So outside Azure, okay, and the demand for cloud, what are the few things that Microsoft is focusing in the post-COVID times?
Sure, and thank you for having me around over here. And it's very good to understand Sudeep's point of view because it gives a reality check to people like us, especially me, right, on what's happening in today. So in post-COVID solution, while we helped our customers in collaboration and VDI to get their BCP up and running, we have been working with our customers and partners to bring solutions for switching on their offices as they come up, their plants, their environments which are coming up. So quickly providing those simple applications or no code applications which can get people to offices, make sure that the safety perspectives are taken into consideration, and also help in operations in terms of intelligent supply chain, fraud management, all that stuff. One key criteria which people miss is the employee analytics in terms of whether the employee is good while working on remotely, right? And from that perspective, Microsoft has come up with a uh, larger point of working remote. So it's not just about being able to work on VDI and talking on Teams or Zoom. It's about how can we make things automated for that person? How can we make things simple so that the person who is working in office can be that much more regular? From Sudeep's point of view, how can we make customer insights in this period or a portfolio of how they are reacting to solutions or how they're reacting to products which are coming out better, right? That's something which Microsoft is really concentrating on, and that's the post-COVID scenario that I'm looking at. I work a lot with advisories and GSIs, and that's the area thought process that we have.
Yeah,
So the
in the recent past, I was doing one more webinar, and one of the customer came and said that most of the people did not know how to use OneDrive. Okay, and
right.
they had to do multiple trainings on that for their extended workforce around OneDrive. So I'm sure that when people actually were forced to work from home, they figured out that these are the actual IT challenges. So thanks, Vishal, for putting it together. Really appreciate. Coming back to you, Sudeep, you have been you have taken multiple decisions around storage platform for many years. Okay, and so what are the key factors that you typically looked at, when you chose the storage technology vendor, in terms of 1, 2, 3 points, what are the things that you look at?
No, Barunda, I think storage, for us, maybe the storage decision is the one which has typically taken the longest cycle. And it's obviously a combination of technology and commercial. Commercial doesn't take as long as the technology part of it. I think the three key factors which I can think right now is the reliability. I mean, no storage without the right form of reliability will sail through with the business. The scalability part of it, obviously with the rising business demands, we would want it to be scalable. How much we buy now, how much we can scale later is an important part of it. And the third part, and in the same order, would then be the affordability. When you're going to put huge amount of data in terms of support, maintenance, as well as the affordability part of it, how much can we really make it work for us? But I think along with that, the bigger part, the complex part with the storage is typically the life of a storage in the system easily crosses 5 years to 6 years. And with the changing business demand, sometimes uh, you want to configure your storage where the write operations are more and the read operations are less. Then the business changes for more read and less write. So I don't know how to manage that dynamic part of it. But when you have to get into the technical decisions, those are the parts or those are the flexibility which people start looking for. So it's a difficult buy sometimes, whether it is performance, pure performance, or it is pure flexibility. How do you find a balance between the two is a difficult part too.
You know, I, Very well put, and I remember that, we used to always say that what is your business, likely business growth in 3 years? And if somebody had to predict what is the business growth in 2020, it will be upside down. So I'm saying that,
Right.
still this IT will be asked this question from the sellers, and they used to, take a decision. And most of the time, I've seen that they used to take right decisions, okay, with whatever information that they used to have. So this is a very interesting insight in terms of reliability, scalability, affordability, and the roadmap of the product line that they have to invest. A very interesting insight about read and write operations as well. Coming back to you, Amit, we are having this debate is essentially around customer behavior and the vendor behavior in terms of post-COVID times. So what is Dell doing, to make buying easier for the customer, or make buying or selling easier for the partners? Are they coming out with some OPEX models vis-a-vis CapEx? Are they coming out with models which suggest that, you buy as you grow, or you pay as you grow? Are there some interesting models which you are coming out with? Yeah, Amit.
So let me just pick from what Sudeep has just said, right? Definitely storage is beyond and speeds and feeds sale, right? Storage definitely is a relationship sale. Any organization does not decide the storage just because we have best of speeds and feeds in our data sheets. They decide because we have the credibility to go and ensure that your data is in its pristine form without actually losing its integrity and serving you at the right level, right? Like, for example, we often come and have this discussion that, oh, 10 terabytes of storage I bought last time at this price. Now, why is this 10 terabytes on an enterprise storage at a different price? Because it all depends on the functionality that it does. And that's where I personally always believe and say that storage is a relationship sale. You get into a relationship contract, you don't get into an hardware selling contract. And that is precisely the reason, right? We have actually, during these times, since we understand the nitty-gritties of what our customers and what our partners are going through during these times, their business models, as you rightly mentioned, either predictability wise have gone higher on the consumption side, or their business on their predictability side are unutilized. The ratios are different. So what we have is, we have something called as Dell Technologies on Demand. So basically, we can get into an agreement discussion with an organization on how do they want to scale, and they can pay based on their consumption, or they can pay based on the scale that you are looking for. It is basically like giving you everything that Dell Technologies can offer you in your data center on demand. And to ease out partners workload, also there are schemes for partners on extended payment terms and stuff like that, which we are helping on to the partners.
I think these are good insights, both from the customer and the partner point of view. Coming back to you, Arun, okay, you have been doing a lot of work around memory and storage technology. Can you share something on your Intel Optane technology?
I completely agree with what Sudeep said. More from a customer standpoint in terms of the key attributes that a customer looks out for. Yes, which is very, very true. And the same goes with what Amit said. Performance is everything. Yes, when we talk of what do you call any memory or data architecture, but it's only true as long as the cost of that performance is under control. But to be frank, I think which is unfortunately not true with the way today's memory and storage hierarchy is being architected. So one closer glance at the architecture, it reveals a glaring gap in terms of performance, capacity, and as well as cost across the different tiers of that storage memory pyramid. So our answer to this comes in the form of what we call as Intel Optane. So a technology which Intel believes that fundamentally changes the way storage and memory is being perceived till date. So what we did is we introduced separate layers into this hierarchy. Intel Octane memory, something that sits at the very top along with DRAMs closer to the processor, and it expands the system memory, opening up a whole new possibility in terms of building data intensive applications. And then we extended that Optane technology all the way to the SSDs below so that we could build higher data density at a lower cost. So this is significantly valuable for customers, particularly in these times when most of the world is going remote. A lot of the services are being launched from their data centers, and the demand for new infrastructure, value-centric decision buying is at its peak. So with Optane, the benefits are quite obvious. The first and foremost, it allows large data sets to move at a much faster pace, higher capacities, and all of this comes at a very, very significantly lower cost. So secondly, with Optane, what we did is memory is not just about having large capacities, but it's also about being persistent so that you can improve the overall utility of the system and the infrastructure itself. So, being a new technology, we understand that no infrastructure is a living thing without a strong application focus. So, we built in a large ecosystem of application partners that included some of the leading ISVs, cloud providers, OEMs, and even systems integrators. And of late, we are seeing emergence of a completely newer set of customer use cases, primarily from high data generating industry verticals like media. So analytics, in-memory computing, content delivery. So these are some of the popular use cases that we have been able to deliver using Octane. So all in all, Intel Octane looks to be in a very strong footing and evolving to be a standard part of a modern data center architecture.
I think Arun very rightly put, and if I have to just summarize before I go to Vishal, I think performance, capacity, and cost. I think these three focus has actually made Optane technology so very popular. Coming back to you, Vishal,
Yes.
Microsoft's hybrid cloud offering fits into the broader set of cloud offerings. Okay, how does it
Yes.
benefit customers, especially in the current scenario?
Well, we do work on the hybrid side quite a bit, and if you look at Azure Stack Hub capabilities that we have, right, it's a very key environment, key play for us in terms of being able to help customers in moving their current applications onto pay-as-you-go or self-service environment, being able to have a scalable system where you can primarily have in-guest automation and extensions. You can have syndicated images which can be used. And on top of that, if you're looking at moving from the current application stack to a new cloud application stack, you can primarily do that using the PaaS capabilities that is there on part of in terms, which is a part of Azure Stack. Having said that, today one of the key aspects is about BCP, right, and being able to make the application easily available, whether on hybrid or in a hybrid manner, and manage it. That's where the applications can quickly sync back into Azure along with Azure Stack, and you can effectively use the capability of Azure Arc to manage the entire system from your Kubernetes clusters to your VM systems to your PaaS systems, and do a backup and availability there. So from a storage point of view, a memory point of view, we work with Dell and Intel to provide those capabilities. But from a capability for a customer to be able to quickly provision and deprovision and move their workloads from cloud to on-prem, the Azure Stack Hub works very, very well.
Hey, thanks, Vishal, for putting it together, because this is a very crucial point for all customers and partners to understand, how it effectively helps in the hybrid cloud environment. Sudhir, coming back to you, pardon me for asking this. Do you have a cloud first strategy in the Times Group? And if yes or if not, what are the pros and cons that you have faced from your perspective?
Sure, Barun. So at Times Group, obviously we have a large print IT, and then we have a non-print IT, which is majorly internet. So for print IT, a lot of our applications are still not cloud ready, so they are managed through our own internal hosting. But I would talk more about our internet business, which is obviously a business where we have large number of properties, Magic Bricks, Ghana, and lot many others. And over here, the business has a choice to work on a public cloud or to work on their own private cloud. So they have both the options available. Now, historically, a lot of people have started their journey with the public cloud, and the adoption of cloud has been their way of working. But obviously, on a shared platform, when the private cloud was created, they were given a choice that if they can get the same SLAs at both the public as well as the private, and what kind of a choice would they want to make. So obviously, the choice went on to the commercial part of it. Now, with the limited services that were available on the private cloud, a lot of business actually moved out of public cloud to adopt to the private cloud, primarily because they saw a huge advantage coming that way. Now, when I say this, I obviously understand the amount of optimization that can happen on a public cloud. That itself is a journey. So I don't really know whether how much of that has happened. But eventually, they have got a price advantage of close to maybe uh, over 50% when they came back and started using their own private cloud. But again, we have been lucky in getting some very huge capex being available to us in the past. For the times to come, I don't think that discretionary capex is going to be easily available. So what the journey is going to be ahead for us, we don't know. When I say this, I must say that there are certain properties on internet who still continue to be on a public cloud 100%. And there are properties which are about 80-90% on the private cloud and only maybe 5-10% on the public cloud. So
So
that's the story.
so basically balancing between private and public, and you feel that hybrid is going to be the need of the day, means depending upon the business situation, security, and debtors. So coming back to you, Amit, what are you doing from Dell side to ramp up the partner skill set, because they are the face to the customer. So what is it that Dell is doing for ramping up the storage skills for your partners?
So definitely, we storage business, right? We have an high tilt of business through channel partners, and channel partners are extended family to for us. And what we can do is a reflection of what our partners can do, and what our partners speak is a reflect of how we train them. So getting into enabling them is an important charter for us, because we would want our sales team, which is spread between direct Dell Force, Dell Technologies sales, specialty sales, and also our extended family with channel sales, to have the same viewpoint to be presented to our valuable customers. So we keep on enabling them periodically on product updates, on solution updates, on and also enable them on how to take a discussion. Right, today it's gone the time that we go back to a whiteboard and say this is a storage with 2 controllers or 4 controllers and this many ports, this much of drives, and this is the best drive in the industry. You have NVMe, you have SEM. That will not work, right? So if someone is getting trained on those lines, then eventually he is going and selling, making a solution sale and commodity. And when you are into a business of commodity, we all know it impacts everyone in the ecosystem. So we enable our sales team members like our own channel sales team members like our own sales team member, which is to enable them to talk about the outcome rather than speeds and feeds. So that's what we do in that journey.
So Arun, coming back to you, uh, what are the new initiatives that Intel is doing in the data center modernization space?
Okay. Uh, Barun, if you look at data center modernization, that per se itself is a very critical element towards the what you call the oft-repeated goal of digitization. I think which most of the industry is buzzing about for quite some time, and now it's becoming all the more relevant in today's turbulent times. But if you take a closer look at this entire engagement of DC modernization, the services have and the applications is what drives this entire initiative. However, when you take a closer look at the way the applications have evolved, they are becoming more complex than ever before, more diverse than ever before. So this makes industry to come up with a completely different set of diverse architectures to suit each of these workloads. And this in turn again creates a highly differentiated but definitely a very heterogeneous infrastructure. So similarly, if you look at the infrastructure side of things, you see infrastructure being evolved from being completely mono infrastructure as a service or coexist at some point of time in the near foreseeable future. So, and this presents a significant amount of complexity. So to address this in terms of modernization as well as to make the cloud and data center more futuristic, Intel came up with a model of what we call a single unified programming software, which we call it as Intel One API. So today it's already in its beta now, and we see a lot of customers deploying it in their environment to see to test various use cases. So fundamentally, if one of the main benefits of Intel API is it simplifies the various diverse compute architectures all the way from design till deployment. Um, as I said, we see a huge interest in this, particularly from the systems integrators, cloud providers, and also from the open source community, because most of the codes under Intel One API is something that can be open sourced.
Thanks a lot, Arun. Thanks for this point of view. Coming back to you, Vishal, quickly. You talked about the Azure stack. Okay, how does a customer integrate with his IT infrastructure?
Sure. I think Azure Stack is effectively a cloud platform that that is well built together. So it's an engineered product that we have worked with, for example, Dell. And let's take the Dell EMC integrated system, which is where we worked with the Dell engineering team and created an HCI environment, which is well engineered to put storage, compute, and automation on top of it well together, right? In that case, what happens is that the customers, as I said before, can quickly automate the VM CRUD capability as well as bring in the performance with respect to the storage using the storage subsystem, take backups, uh, develop applications on top of it, and actually create a full-fledged in on-prem solution, which can effectively at any point of time connect back with your Azure environment. So that's something that's something which can really bring to the table. As Sudeep said, right, there's a hybrid piece that Microsoft really believes in, and that's where the Azure Arc and the Azure Stack Hub connects back, providing proper compute, storage, infrastructure, PaaS capability for the customer to create applications and set up their systems together.
Thanks, Vishal, and really appreciate all of you taking time out to attend this webinar. Okay, I would like to personally thank Sudeep. I know that it's a working day, still you provision for this time, and I would like to thank Vishal, Arun, and Amit for giving me the chance to be the moderator for this event. A great privilege for me. Thank you so much.
Wow, those were some really powerful discussions. Thank you, Amit, Vishal, and Arun for sharing their technical advancements and their role in day-to-day use cases for our customers' organizations. And I think equally enriching were the insights from Sudeep. Thank you, Mr. Sudeep, for sharing your thoughts on what happens when rubber hits the road actually in production environment. I think those were really valuable. I'm sure all of our participants, all of our delegates have captured some strong insights and definitely some actionable inputs that they can use when they are going for the next round of conversations with their colleagues and with the customers. The next session would be the keynote from Mr. Srinivas Rao. He's a senior director with Dell Technologies. He will share some insights into the technical advancements with the Dell Data Capital and Storage Solutions. Srini, over to you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking time to attend this Unlock the Data Capital session from Dell Technologies. My name is Srini Rao. I'm the Senior Director for System Engineering at Dell Technologies. So in the next 20-25 minutes, what I'm going to do is talk about the top technology trends that is really contributing to the this data era or data capital. and talk about the Dell technology strategy in terms of how we as put in solutions and portfolio together to really unlock this data capital. And I'll follow up with one of the interesting case study which we have done in the financial sector to really talking about the unlocking of the data. So without wasting any further time, let me quickly get into the important to the slides talking about unlocking the data capital. So most of the people in this session are technology professionals, and this picture which has been displayed is our world today. Whether we like it or not, we deal with one or the other technologies on a day-to-day life basis. This is just a small sampling of the technologies we have to deal with. If you look at every industry today, we have many different technologies that have been on play that are influencing their businesses. And we need to deal with all of them. We can't ignore any of those technologies. However, the good news is that there's one common thread underneath all these technologies, and that thread is nothing but data. This data either is in production data, moving, managing, or storing, or sometimes being analyzed for the betterment of the organization. And that is a good thing to happen, because what that says that the core of our business, of our technologies, is the management of the flow and the value of the data. So this is going to become more important as time goes by, because this ecosystem is expanding at an unprecedented rate. We predict by 2025, we see the data produced will be exceeding close to 163 zettabytes. This is several orders of magnitude larger than the data produced last year, and it is exponentially growing. So it is important we think of data not as a cost, not as an expense, but it's a valuable asset. So what are the new technology trends which are really contributing to this uh, overall data era or the data capital? One definitely is artificial intelligence. I mean, I don't have to really explain. In today's world, every organization is using the artificial intelligence in one way or the other to really improvise their business processes. Uh, this is it's artificial intelligence. AI is not a is now at the state that it is actually a tool that we can use to better understand and make our data more valuable today. The reason for this is not because AI is new. It is 50 years old. Uh, uh, to give an example, 30 years back, undergraduate engineers were building neural networks. Uh, so it is not a new concept. But what has happened over the past few years is we now have an advances in the compute that have really provided us with more compute capacity and data access capacity as well. That is one of the reasons this AI technologies has really become very dominant in the organization, which is really helping them to improvise their business. Second different technology trend which I would definitely bring it to your notice is the hybrid cloud and the multi-cloud. The reason why this is important is 20 years back, if you try to power the AI system or an enterprise with just an equipment in our data center, we were constrained. And it not only had the finite capacity, but it, it lacks the compute power, necessary compute power to really address those requirements. But today, in this multi-cloud world, we now have access to the equipment in our data center, the equipment and capabilities in the public cloud as well. And similarly, there are a lot of software and the telecom clouds as well, which is really uh, uh, becoming one more technology enabler for the data era. And the third and important thing, which in my view is the uh, edge. There's a new concept materializing called as edge computing, because the computing is moving from the centralized to the faraway locations. This new concept is called as an edge computing. It is about pushing IT back into the real world. The reason edge is important in that data era is very simple, because almost no data originating at the data center. Almost all the actions that happen because of the data happen in the real world scenarios, be it the factories, be it in the cities, or when you talk about healthcare in the hospital locations. So very few actions actually happen in the data center. That's where I believe this edge computing is going to play a very big role in this data era, uh, the data capital, which has been in the organizations today. Now we are talking about sorry. The fourth and important thing is the software defined. Software defined doesn't mean that hardware is not important. I mean, advanced hardware is critical for the software defined environments to really function. Because with the different application models, different modernized apps coming in the front, be it in terms of containers or in terms of any other mobile applications. Today, you need to have infrastructure which is adaptable, elastic, and flexible to adapt to those software-defined solutions. So, if I take healthcare as an example to illustrate, if I take healthcare as an example, your infrastructure might be processing a lot of genomic information. Maybe 30 seconds later, it may need to be processing the radiology data at an extreme scale, because that's the demand in the healthcare sector. We need infrastructure that can be reprogrammed to essentially change its behavior based on the task at hand. And the way we do that is not by building more independent infrastructure, but by making the infrastructure programmable, elastic, and software defined. And the last and important characteristics of this new data capital is the workforce modernization. Today, I think because of the pandemic situation, we have already modernized the entire remote workforce. But what is happening is, ultimately, when we are able to process the data and gain insights to be able to understand our world better, but the only way to represent the data is having a modern workforce modernization, so that uh, the end users can really uh, uh, see this data entire visual format, where the augmented reality, virtual reality, and new immersive technologies that can give the ability to see this rich environment around you in a real time and in a digital way as well. That's where workforce modernization has become very critical, and they to generate and contribute to the overall data capital which has been generating the data center today. So finally, what I would like to highlight is, put simply, in the digital era, every company is now a technology company, and and data capital is becoming the greatest source for the differentiator actually. So the data capital and the data is becoming a greatest source for the differentiation, or to be in competitive edge against their uh, technology rivals there. So what is data capital? So we are using the term data capital to talk about the critical assets in our organizations. Well, what is it? First, let's talk for a moment about the how organizations have traditionally measured their value. It used to be the case of human capital, which is the workforce. It used to be intellectual property, which used to be the patents and the knowledge the employees have generated. And third thing used to be operations. And fourth thing used to be the assets that determined how valuable the business have been. But in a world where digital transformation is determining the winners and losers, it is the data capital, uh, the, the the huge amount of data era that comes into focus. When applied across the organizations, it not only allows you to extend the value of the traditional assets, but it actually creates new opportunities and efficiencies well beyond these traditional assets. For this reason, data is rapidly becoming organization's most valuable asset. So transforming your data into value. The transitions have led to major issues. Uh, According to me, this is about the complexity of data, because as and when the applications have been come to the data center, uh, what customers have done is they've started building silos of infrastructure, which has really complicated the entire data center environment. Second, as and when the application data growth has happened, how do you keep up with the data growth is becoming a big challenge in terms of scaling up the capacity, scaling up the performance uh, as per the business needs and the data growth as well. That is becoming uh, a huge challenge in the data centers today. And the third challenge is on the as data is increasingly leveraged across the organization, its value is increased. Organization that utilizes the data as a part of their business model and more susceptible to lose revenue due to IT outages. So it is all about, uh, and we are seeing the data having more longevity in its use, so it is being kept indefinitely. So without safeguarding your data, the value you receive from it will not lasting much more. And the last and important thing is finally, once the other obstacles have been addressed, we come to the most critical challenge, creating the business impact from the data. So data is an incredible asset, but only in the context of how it is being used to solve the real problems or the opportunities of the customer business. So these are some of the challenges which organizations have been going through because of this data capital. So what is Dell Technology strategy to really address? Before I talk about the Dell Technology strategy, one of the interesting things which I have noticed is organizations who have been looking to digitally transform usually see cloud as a logical next step. But this is creating a lot of challenges when it comes to data. Things like access, the access piece, data gravity, latency, data lock-in, and even compliance and control issues can arise, which is creating a lot of challenges. This is not to take away anything from the cloud, but what I firmly believe is rather than uh, rather than the cloud first mindset, you need to have the data first mindset in the organizations, which will eventually drive you to building the multi-cloud environment in the customer environment, which is the right way to really address those challenges. So how does Dell Technologies address these challenges? How do we unlock the data capital with our data capital unlock the data capital concerns? We simply follow three-step process. One is simplify the data landscape. What it means is you need to build an infrastructure, eliminate the complexity in the data landscape by leveraging industry-leading storage and data protection solutions from Dell Technologies that span across edge, core, and the multi-cloud environments. That is what we firmly believe in simplifying the data landscape. And second, what we do is automate the entire data services, streamline the infrastructure management, and focus on what really matters. Uh, yes, by doing this, you unlock the value from the data. It will utilize the policy-based automation, self-service data management proactively, so that the resources can focus on most business critical issues related to business rather than the IT management. And third, an important thing is secure the data assets. Protecting data's value isn't about locking it away. In a digital business, it requires continuous availability to be meaningful. So Dell Technologies industry-leading data protection and storage solutions that can provide superior risk reduction of workloads, advanced security, and improved data mobility access across heterogeneous environments. So simplify the entire landscape, automate the entire IT operations process, and secure the data assets is our strategy which we have put in place to really unlock the data capital. So what are the infrastructure solutions which makes it possible? So while we have a broad portfolio of Dell technologies, uh, today for the discussion's sake, while we have the servers, networking, storage, hyperconverged platforms, and the multi-cloud solutions as well. For the sake of today's discussion, we'll focus more on the storage solutions and data protection solutions, which really helps you to unlock the uh, uh, data capital or the data era to really have the meaningful solutions there. So let's focus on this data storage solutions. So in the storage and data protection, we have a wealth of riches, and we have been number one overall almost in more than a decade now in our primary storage, which includes primary and unstructured data storage solutions. And we are also number one in flash and software defined storage technologies, which are the keys to the future of the storage market. In the bottom row, we do have a completely sophisticated data protection solutions, which really differentiates from the rest of the industry to really unlock your data capital in your data centers. I'll touch about key highlights about this individual product line. I will not go into the details, but I'll quickly touch base on these technologies. So let's start with the primary storage technologies. As I mentioned, Dell Technologies is the industry in storage with a broad and deep portfolio that includes all-flash, NAS, object, and software-defined storage, as well as data protection, backup, and security solutions as well. All this primary storage has been powered by end-to-end NVMe technologies, which can scale starting from an 100K kind of IOPS or maybe 50K kind of IOPS up to 10 million plus kind of IOPS to meet the entire scalability of the performance along with the reliability, availability, and performance as well. So I'm not going deep into this portfolio, but we do have a comprehensive data storage portfolio to really address the primary storage concerns. But more important call out, which I want to make out from this slide is this entire primary storage infrastructure for structured data has an can be a part of the private cloud. At the same time, if you want to have the hooks into the public clouds, we have defined the strategies and solutions which can cooperate with the public clouds as well. So next is the unstructured data solutions. I mean, Dell EMC's Dell Technologies Isilon scale-out storage solutions are designed for enterprise who wants to manage the data, not the storage infrastructure. So storage systems are powerful and simple to install, and our entire unstructured data storage solutions has a strategy based on the access patterns. It will either reside on then high performance unstructured data storage solutions or archive it to an object storage so that we place the right data at the right storage tier with the right access patterns. Uh, and again, this portfolio is again completely comprehensive, which will meet the entire unstructured data solutions there. Third thing is how do you secure this data? I mean, our data protection solutions. while people talk about generally backup software and the storage device or the backup device to really meet those requirements, what we have done as what we have put it as a differentiator strategy is we have packaged the entire solution as a single appliance itself. So what we have done is we have a platform called as IDPA, which is a pre-integrated turnkey solution that is easy to deploy and scale. While others talk about integrated solutions, provide the basic packaging of the backup software and the storage targets, IDPA integrates data protection across four key vectors. I mean, this is a very, very differentiated strategy what we have been adopting. It merges protection of storage, software, search, and analytics integrated into a single appliance. Very, very differentiated approach compared to the traditional backup solutions. It offers seamless extensions of that protection into the cloud. So today you implement a backup solution, you want to integrate that into the public clouds as well. We have no challenges. We can clearly extend this entire data protection strategy into the public cloud as well. And the third is it provides protection across wide and diverse applications, be it the physical or the virtual environments, along with the wide range of open sources uh, databases and the new container-based services as well. So we have a completely differentiated strategy in the data protection solutions. So while we spoke about how we unlock the data assets, let me quickly talk about how we have executed unlocking of this data capital in one of our customer environment, which is one of our, the biggest financial sector, which is the Mastercard, which is a well-known financial institute there. So, as a worldwide leader in the payment and industry, with the stated desires to move the world beyond cash, Mastercard had to be one of the. It's been one of the innovative companies on the planet to really want to make this entire thought process into reality. So when they have been dealing with a scale of 2.2 billion cards, 2.2 plus billion cards, and almost 160 million transactions every hour, there was a lot of work to do to ensure that transactions are safe and secure. So data privacy and protection for the consumers is a top priority for them. That means applying substantial business logics and analytics to each and every one of these transactions is key. So with almost 2 plus million rules being applied to these transactions in a split second, it would be almost impossible to keep every services running without artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms running on top of our infrastructure. That is why MasterCard has partnered with Dell Technologies along with Cloudera to build and secure PCI Hadoop cluster using the PowerEdge servers and Isilon storage to optimize the business performance for their security and fraud protection efforts. And today, this solution has been seamlessly running using our infrastructure where they have unlocked real business value from the data capital there. And this is one of the interesting case studies which we are very proud to talk about, and it's a perfect example of unlocking the data capital. So, so to wind up my session, why Dell Technologies? I mean, what is the real biggest differentiators what Dell Technologies carry? One, I simply say that flexibility and the choice. What it means is with the multi-cloud strategy which we have put in place, we not only build the private clouds with our end-to-end portfolio, but at the same time have the complete strategy to coexist with the public clouds as well, which will provide you uh, complete flexibility, not only to host the key and core applications in your data center, but there's uh, repatriate the application from your public cloud to the private cloud or private cloud to public cloud as well. And second thing is our consumption models definitely is a very lucrative one for the customers who want to really deploy This thing. That's one of the big differentiators. And second thing is our commitment to customer success. It starts with an future-proof loyalty program which we sign with the customer, which shows that we stand behind our products and will deliver real lasting value. And third and important thing is our portfolio and innovation. With the investments we have made to build the industry-leading solutions and the depth and breadth of our portfolio, we can support all of our workloads, all of your workloads in the data center. And we continue to invest and drive innovation across the portfolio to really address the future next generation applications as well. These are the three reasons why I believe Dell Technologies has an edge against the competitors to really partner with us. So this is what I want to cover in today's session, Unlocking the Data Capital session. Thank you very much for taking time out to attend this session. Feel free to reach out to any of your Dell Connects to really understand how we unlock the data capital with our complete end-to-end strategy and the portfolio. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi everyone, glad to see all of you once again. I'm sure you all enjoyed this SalesAcumen workshop masterclass as well. And this was as energizing and learning as the previous ones. Surely it was for me. In case you missed the previous sessions, please ping me. We'll be sharing the recording links subsequently. Now the final and the most rewarding round. We have a very interesting quiz coming up. It will be displayed on your screen. You will see a few simple questions with multiple choice answers. Please make your best attempt. Respond with your answers to each of those quiz questions. And we have some exciting prizes for the top winners of the quiz session. With this quiz session, we will wrap up today's SalesAcumen workshop. But before you sign off, you will also see a few instructions on how to access the feedback form, should you wish to give some feedback to us. And we'll be more than glad to hear some feedback from all of you. With that, I wish you good luck for the quiz and happy learning. Wish you all safe and sound. Thank you. Bye-bye.